I want to go to Mississippi, where a governor's race hasn't been this competitive in over 20 years. CNN's Diane Gallagher is joining us right now from a canvas event for Brandon Presley, the Democratic challenger. Diane, why is this race all of a sudden so close?
I think the question right now for people in Mississippi is, can this state elect a Democrat as governor? I actually have Brandon Presley with me right now. Hi, how are you, sir? Good. This is the Democratic candidate. This is your final event. You've crisscrossed the entire state. Everyone wants to know, can Mississippi actually elect a Democrat as governor?
I think that we're going to win tonight. I've been in all 82 counties. The energy in this race has been amazing. The fact that we have knocked on over 260,000 doors throughout the state, and we've got folks that are ready right behind me to go knock more doors this afternoon.
How do you convince Republicans, though, to vote for you? I know you've run on a populist message, but how do you convince them to go? I've been out at the polls, and a lot of people tell me, even if they don't like Tate Reeves, they have a hard time voting for someone who isn't a Republican.
Yeah, we've been proud to get Republican support throughout this campaign. I think that this election is as much a referendum on saving our hospitals, ethics reform, and the fact that Tate Reeves is one of the most unpopular governors in America. And Mississippians know he's out of touch with them, and that I would be a governor that would be in touch with Mississippians and the issues in Mississippi. This campaign has never been about national politics. He's tried to make it that way. It's been about the issues in our state and how we can have a governor that will go to work to fix those.
Has it been difficult being attached to national politics, being attached to national Democrats running in this state for you?
Well, I think more than anything else, we've kept this centric to the state of Mississippi. This is about whether or not our hospitals are going to be open for the next 4 years. It's about whether or not we end the corruption of Tate Reeves, where we've had the largest public corruption scandal in state history under his leadership. And so it's not, this has not been about national politics. I've disagreed with the national party plenty throughout this campaign, and this has been more about Mississippi than anything else, and I think that's why we're going to win tonight.
And you've talked quite a bit about expanding Medicaid. Mississippi, one of the few remaining states that has failed to do so. Again, this populist message you're running on, I've talked to people who have said that it's the idea of cutting taxes. Is that what's going to, you believe, push you over the finish line in a very unexpected? I mean, this would be an upset here if you won.
Yeah, I think we're going to win. I think, look, I'm a populist. I've said clearly that I'm a populist from the beginning. The issues in Mississippi are not right and left. It's about those of us who have been pushed on the outside versus a hand-select little few led by Tate Reeves on the inside. That's why we're attracting support from traditional Republicans, independents, and, of course, from Democrats throughout the state, because this is a campaign for the people. I've said that I wanted to build a coalition of black Mississippians and white Mississippians and Republicans and Democrats to take back the governor's office for the people of the state, whether it be cutting the grocery tax, which we have the highest tax on food in America. Tate Reeves has done nothing about getting that tax taken off of our working people, and he's had 12 years to do it. And I think that that's a message that's resonated, and they realize I'm a fighter. Tate Reeves has been a very low-energy governor, and he doesn't have any guts and backbone. I'm willing to stand up and fight.
All right, thank you so much, Brandon Presley. I appreciate your time. You know, Wolf, look, sometimes you get the candidate right as they come in. I will point out he's tried to tie Tate Reeves to that welfare scandal where $77 million worth of welfare funds were misspent and instead funneled to the politically connected and celebrities. Many people watching me know that Brett Favre is counted as one of those defendants in that. Now, look, Tate Reeves was lieutenant governor at that time, not the governor at that time. He's never been accused or officially of anything involving that, though his name has come up. Reeves has said that he believes that he can get himself across the finish line, that Mississippi is a reliably Republican state.
We shall see. All right, Diane Gallagher in Jackson, Mississippi for us. Thank you.
Karen Finney, even if you are Elvis's second cousin, yes, can you become the next Democratic governor of a state like Mississippi?
We'll see. I'll tell you one of the things that's interesting. A Jim Crow era law was repealed, and that law has the impact, it was diluting the impact of the black vote. So actually black voters will have a much bigger say this time. It'll be interesting to see if that will make up the difference.
To the point we were discussing before, what we didn't hear Brandon Presley say a lot is Joe Biden. And, you know, I'm with Joe Biden all the way, and look at what he did on that infrastructure bill for all of us, and look at what he did for all of us during the pandemic.
Well, also to the points we were talking about earlier, he's pro-life. He is not talking about abortion.
Yes,
right?
no,
I mean,
he's not talking
like
about
John Bel
abortion.
Edwards.
He's running as a very conservative Democrat.
Yeah, and by the way, that's good and healthy for the country in terms of if we want to heal our divides. You need big tent parties again. And Democrats there need to be rural Democrats and red state Democrats. And what you heard from Brendan Presley right there was kind of a masterclass in how to communicate from that perspective. And we'll see if it works. 80% of the state legislative seats in Mississippi are uncontested. That's a separate kind of scandal. That may have an impact on turnout and ground game. But that kind of messaging, and just Democrats need to find a way to realize you don't need an ideological litmus test and culture war issues to define every candidate in every region of the country. That's a loser, not a winner. Trying to build a broad coalition.
This is why I married my husband, the Aaron Sorkin West Wing version of Politico sort of good boy. 62% of Mississippi are registered Republicans. Not even 30% are Democrats. So while you can aspire to sort of the change you can believe in, the likelihood that Mississippi votes for a Republican, returns a Republican to the government is just what's on
keep
writing
hope
on the
alive.
wall.
First competitive race in 20 years.
Well, there is the Presley factor.
That's right.
Keep an eye on it. And also, of course, Kentucky is a much more competitive race. We'll check back there in a moment.